Hello, hello, and we're live. Testing out the new Stream Deck and getting some stuff cleaned up from videos from yesterday. So hopefully everything with chat is working. Let's see. Oh man, I did not fix Stream Chat. Okay, let's fix Stream Chat. Yes. Okay. Drag. I can change that over to live chat. Cool. Also did some pretty major work on the filters for the wireless headset. Let's see. Okay, so why does it look like that's not applying now? What in the world? Got a dot cam. I went and worked on the audio. Spent like an hour testing it, and now it doesn't look like it's doing what it was doing. Let's see. Filters look like they're still what I set them to. What on earth? Oh well, I will have to modify that later on. I think my gain is out of whack again. This gain set to that. My limiter. I need to move my limiter down in the stack so it does everything post-processing. If I move my limiter under my gain, what happens? If I move my limiter under my gain, everything just caps out. Wow. Okay, so... Oh, I like that. That means I can set my limiting threshold exactly where I want it, so I don't blow out anyone's eardrums. Without having to mess up my gain. Oh. Oh, that's cool. You guys will have to, well, whoever will have to let me know if this is good as far as audio. Since I can't actually monitor, well, maybe. How do I enable monitor mode? Let's see. Okay. Properties? No, that's not it. Advanced audio properties? Maybe? Oh, here we go. Monitoring. Yes. Why are those showing to active? Monitor. Monitor and output. Nope, that's not it. Monitor off. I want to be able to monitor on my headset. Which means my audio output on the device needs to be set to my headset. Okay. Yes. Now if we do monitor only. Monitor and output. Why does that sound like that? Okay, it was definitely something with the monitor. For some reason, it was giving me a crazy, wub sound into things. Hopefully that's not what it actually sounds like. Alright, I'm going to turn that monitor off because that kind of freaks with my brain. Yeah. Alright. See, we've got stuff. These were our pulls from the list, and Neon Dynasty Commander. Pulled one Reckoner's Bargain? That doesn't seem right. Let's see. Life at Zero gets played. Unequaled Anvil gets played. Reckoner Raid gets played. Let's see. Oh, Lord Conda sees a little bit of play. Twin Shot Sniper sees a little bit of play. Thirst sees play. Spirited Companion sees play. Earth Beetle sees a little bit of play. I think Lethal Exploit should see more play than it does. Yeah, Touch definitely sees play. Roadside sees a little bit of play. Synthesizer sees play. Let's see, I don't think any of the emergences see play. Modern Age sees a little bit of play. Containment Construct sees play. Anchored to Reality is neat, and I really want to see it get, I want to try and make it do more than it currently does. Sunblade sees a little bit of play. Ghost Shintais really don't see play at the moment. Disruption Protocol sees a little bit of play. Let's see, Arrow of Enlightenment doesn't really see play. Michiko's Reign of Truth sees play. Vanishing Slash should see some play. One artifact. Enchantment. Yep. Doesn't see play. Assassin's Inc. I'm really confused as to why it doesn't see play. So, Jukai Naturalist definitely sees play. Modern Age sees play. Okay. See, Planar Incision, I'm not sure why that doesn't see play right now. Because it is very good. Ichigo's Reign of Truth sees play. Essence Capture does see a little bit of play. Seismic Wave sees a little bit of play. Let's see. Careful Cultivation sees play and Pauper. Safekeeping sees play. Like, I could see Tamiya's Completion eventually seeing play. Like, it's one of the few ways that Blue has to interact with just, like, shutting off Planeswalkers, but... Like, Enthusiastic Mechanaut. I want that to be good. I don't think it sees play anywhere right now. Secluded Courtyard sees play. Yeah. One sees play, that sees play, that sees play. Life sees play, Anchor, I want to try. Yeah. There's a lot of really good commons and uncommons in this set. I'm gonna read cease play. That's cease play. Yep. Hey! Hello, Ice Dorito. Or Icy Dorito. Is it Icy Dorito? Or Iced Dorito? Or, yeah. Or Icy Edorito. Hey, sorry about that. I was a little focused on what was going on. I'm doing well. It is a whole day. How are you doing? Alright. There. Going through and organizing stuff at the moment. Did a box of Neon Dynasty last night. And now we're sorting that stuff out. Kind of brainstorming some deck ideas while I wait for people to show up in chat. So. Unfortunately, I don't have chat right in front of me anymore. Like I did with the previous setup, so it is easier for me to miss things. Yeah, it's a good day. Everyone's above ground. Well, not about everyone. I'm above ground, so it's a good day. As some people say, I'm on the right side of dirt. So yeah, where are you from? What's your favorite tabletop game, card game? If it's Magic, what's your favorite deck to play? Yeah, all that good stuff. Nothing. Let's see. Yep, I'm just talking to myself. I see Dorito left. Oh well. What does that do? That doesn't do anything. Yeah. Oh well. Dang. Had someone in chat and then disappeared. I didn't notice. Oh well. So is life. And that for later. Alright. The art cards. They're their own thing. They're tokens. Gonna need a couple of spirit tokens for the deck we're working on. Going to need some of the ninja tokens that Kaito makes. I don't think we've pulled any of those. Not this time. Okay. It doesn't look like we pulled any of those. But we got Kaido and its emblem. A pilot token that I pulled to the side for some reason. Pull out our basics. It's basic. There's a foil basic. There's another basic. Okay. Put the foil basic just for their foils. Do that. Okay, so I need to figure out how to make a mute button on the Stream Deck. That is something that I need to do. Not right this second, but at some point. Okay. Okay. We're actually going to take a very quick break, maybe 5-10 minutes at the most. We will be right back. I've got to use the restroom. Okay, we're back. Okay. So, let's see. Got a whole bunch of piles. Got our anime stuff color sorted. So that can be restacked. Got our Ukiyo-e lands. So we got one foil. 2 foils from this box. Nice. Go ahead and put those in perfect fits and get those in our binder. So I'm going to go get the binder for the Ukiyo-e lands, and then we'll get a new binder for the non-foil ones. So I have come up with a setup that I think is going to work for the different lands. Other Ukiyo-e lands. Fresh binder. So we do want to build up to an appropriate number of the regular versions and the foils. We've got our foil lands. Right. Our binders. So with the Streets of New Capenna lands, decided that I really only care about having 18 of each of them. So, those. Those together. Sorted. Got our regular Ukiyo-e lands. We'll put those other stack that we have. Those. These can go with the tokens. So there. We've got our Ukiyo-e lands. Okay. All right. So we've got the plains. We have here is island. So we've almost got all the plains we need. The second art of plains, the second Ukiyo-e plains, we only need one more of. And the island that we pulled, we actually needed 9 more of. Now we just need 8. Nice. Alright, it's the shrine one. Just need 3 more of that forest. Nice. Oh, allergies are doing all kinds of crazy things today. Oh, there's stuff in here. Yeah, that's from some pickups I had. A while back. Forget about that. Spec'd on some cards. Don't think those specs worked out, but yeah. It's all good. Let's see. Yeah. It's all good. Eye blade endings. Gambles. Hey, Russell. How's it going, man? Hopefully, I saw your message in a timely fashion. I missed Ice Dorito earlier. Or Icy Dorito, whichever name they actually go by. Just organizing some stuff from last night's polls and trying to get my non-foil ukiyo-e lands sorted and put into the book. Just woke up. Yeah, I think you're supposed to drag out the E2, but not sure because I missed their message at first. But yeah. Got some of our ukiyo-e lands. Just the non-foils. The foils, I almost have a full book of now, which I'm really happy about. Getting so close. Like, funny enough, the one that I'm the shortest on is the one that I like the most, which is one of the islands. So, but it's all good. I originally had planned to pick up 100 each of them, and the way I was getting them just dried up. So, and I didn't exactly want to pick up more of the collector's boxes. Yeah, the one with the cranes. I really like that island. I'm missing. I think I need 8 more of them to finish the binder, or at least to finish that segment of the binder. It's the one that I need the most of. And I think that's actually the most expensive one, unfortunately. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't looked at any of the prices recently. I know when they first came out, the Crane Island was the most expensive foil. But yeah, I was originally going to get 100 each of them, and I ordered like 4 or 5 sets of 10 each, and I'm not sure what I did with them because I can't find them. I was only able to find about 30 of each. And I know I bought at least 5 sets of 10 each for the foils, and I just don't know what I did with them. Which is a little frustrating, but it's all good. Let's see, so that'll be 1 sheet, 2 sheets. Yeah. I opened a box of set boosters last night. I've got 5 more boxes of set boosters left to open, and then I've got a case of draft boosters, and I don't know if I'm going to open them or not. You've been slowly getting the oil slicks? Yeah, I have 2 each of the oil slicks. I keep rolling over in my head whether or not I want to pick up another 7 of those boxes, or if I'm just happy with what I have. I think long term it makes sense to do it, but like the value of the mythics in the boxes has completely tanked. like the oil slick, I think it was either the Atraxa or the Elish Norn, went from like 350 to like 80 almost overnight. Because the only, from what I understand, the only things that are in the oil slick printing is are mythics. I think if I remember correctly, all of the completed packs just have mythics in them. I mean, yeah, that is an option, but I think the broad value of picking up the foil, I think the broader value from picking up the foil Phyrexian lands that come in the box itself make more sense. Because you get 20 foil full arts, then you get 20 Phyrexian foil full arts, then you get the 10 oil slick lands. So you get 50 full art lands. And even if those retain a value of like $2 a piece, which I can't remember the last time I saw a foil full art for less than $3, then it just makes sense economically. Now, being able to harvest that value is a different question. I don't know how likely it is to be able to sell those. But I also don't really sell cards. So I don't know if I'm just making up a justification in my mind for spending money that I shouldn't. So yeah. That is what I have been rolling around in my head lately. Then I think a lot, like, I've been seeing completed bundles for less than what I bought mine for on like eBay and a couple of other places. But I think the hotness for it. Yeah, that's fair. See, that's the thing. I collect hobbies, though. I mean, you know that. Like, I've got painting, I've got woodworking, metalworking, magic, video games, miniature painting, miniature sculpting. Like, I have plenty of hobbies. Oh. It's to the point that I think, yeah, the initial price was scalper price. I'm glad I didn't jump on scalper pricing. I used to be really big about getting stuff early, because that used to be the way to save money, was to get things really early. Now I've noticed that even pre-ordering is starting to you can't get these hands in woodworking. I don't understand the joke. I mean, these hands would work and metal work. Or do you mean that I can't catch your hands? Like, I don't think we've sat across the table from each other since Hour of Devastation. I don't think we've actually had a chance to play Magic since Hour. Yeah, that's fair. Or, I mean, you could help me build a table if you really want. Or, like, set of shelves. That's actually something I need to do soon. I need to build a there's a built-in that I need to build for my office. I want to do a window surround bookcase in the office. Yeah, I mean, you got lucky in that game, but I got lucky in that event because I still took first. I think that was a game day. Because that was when I was running the 5-color control. Like, you beat me with Second Sunrise in Swiss, but then I won from bottom seed. I'm your legacy player, man? I mean, I am, but I think I'm the only dedicated legacy player that's at the shop anymore. I don't know anyone else that actually has paper legacy right now. Unless you still have your lands deck. Which, have you updated lands in the last, like, 4 years? Oh, are you talking about the triples event? Yeah, I really miss paper legacy. Um, I feel like I never get to play legacy anymore. Because I don't have my stuff set up on Moto. I mean, like, I've got Mox Diamonds. Like, I'm not even sure why they're so expensive. Yeah, I mean, well, the funny thing is, like, it's really deck dependent too. Like, there's a few legacy decks that you can build for under $1,000, which is about where modern is. Like, modern, last I looked, was averaging about $1,200 for a full deck. And like, if you're building Merfolk, you can build Merfolk for like 300, I think, depending on the price of Aether Vials and Wastelands, which I think Merfolk is currently the cheapest legacy deck that's actually viable. Or at least it was the last I looked. Oh, seriously? Another thing ruined by EDH. Didn't they get a reprint in From the Vault? Didn't they print a From the Vault Mox Diamond? Like, I'm pretty sure Mox Diamond and Lion's Eye Diamond were in From the Vault. Yeah, see, like that's Slow Depths is about the same price as Elementals and Modern. Actually, I think it might be cheaper than Elementals. Diamonds are up to 700? Mox Diamonds, right? Not Lion's Eye Diamond? That is crazy. I'm gonna have to look that up. Wow. But since they did it from the vault, that means that it's not reserved list, right? Is Mox Diamond reserve list even though they did it from the vault? Because if it's not reserve list, then they can absolutely reprint it. And if it is reserve list, I wonder how they were able to get away with from the vault. Is it because they did it as a foil and it was never done as a foil? Okay, I'm gonna check and see if I have any foils that go across into the second page, and if I don't, then I'm going to use the second page for non-foils. So far, we don't have anything goes into the second page. This is my favorite mountain from Streets of New Capenna. That's one of my favorite mountains in a very long time. I love that style. Yep. Cool. We can do all the second pages as non-foils. Because I only care about getting 18 of each of these anyway. That's the most basics that I've played on a deck in quite a while. I don't understand why they wouldn't want to reprint it. Like, if you put that on a set as a mythic, like, first off, people will buy whatever set it is. If every other card in the set is garbage, they will buy it. Just on the fact that Mox Diamond is in there. Like, we saw this with Double Masters and Imperial Seal. And then the second part of that is that it will make things become reasonably priced, at least for a little while. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't remember exactly what the criteria for the reserve list are. I know we have stuff from Urza's that's on the reserve list. Yeah, it doesn't From the Vault Relics also have like Sensei's Divining Top and a couple of other things in it? Isn't the Sensei's top in that like 150 or something? I forget what nulls in from the Vault Relics. I know there's a Umezawa's Jite in there. It's like $50. I think it's Jite. There's Lotus Petal. The Lotus Petal in there's like 200. Mox Diamond. Sensei's Top. There's like one or two other really good cards in it too. You're gonna make me look that up now. All right. What? Scryfall, all sets. From the Vault Relics was 2014, if I remember correctly. Mox Diamond is on the reserve list. Okay, so how did they reprint it in the From the Vault? Let's see, From the Vault Lore was 2016. From the Vault Relics. Let's see, From the Vault Annihilation was 2014. Relics was before that. And From the Vault Relics was 10 years ago. From the Vault 20 was 2013. They only did one a year. So, From the Vault Realms was 2012. From the Vault Legends was 2011. Yeah, because it used to be the August release. Was the From the Vault. Let's see, Transform was 2017. Lore was 16. Angels was 15. Yeah, it was always their August release. Annihilation was 14. 20 was 13. Realms was 12. Legends was 11. Relics was 2010. That was 13 years ago. Yeah, From the Vault Duels, I would pay dumb amounts of money for that. Especially, well, only if they were real. Let's see. So there's Aether Vial. That's the other big one. You got Aether Vial, Black Vice, Isochron Scepter, Ivory Tower, Memory Jar, which is fantastic, but is banned in basically every format. Masticore, Karn Silver Golem, which is great. Lotus Petal apparently wasn't in this one. Lotus Petal must have been in From the Vault 20. But yeah, you got Aether Vial, Mox Diamond, Soul Ring, Karn, Sundering Titan, Sword of Body and Mind are the big hits in it. Yeah, I pulled it up. I know there's a From the Vault Lotus Petal, but I think that was From the Vault 20. The Jite is in From the Vault 20. I know that. I thought I was in From the Vault Relics for some reason. Let's see, From the Vault Legends has none of the things that I thought were in there. Let's see, that's got Cao, Lord of Wei, Captain Sisei, Door on the Siege Tower, Kiki Jiki, Mirror Breaker, Kresh the Blood Braided, Micaeus the Lunarch, Omnath Locus of Mana, Una Queen of the Fae, Progenitus. Oh, I forgot they had Progenitus in there. That's got the art from the Duel of the Planeswalkers promo. Rafika the Many, Sharam the Hegemon, Sun Quan, Lord of Wu, Teferi, Mage of Zalfir, Ulamog the Infinite Gyre, and Visara the Dreadful. see, how many of these cards are actually still relevant? I remember Doran the Siege Tower used to be one of the best commanders. From the Vault Exiled? I thought From the Vault Exiled was cards that had been banned at some point. I don't remember Lotus Petal ever being... Oh, it was banned and extended. I forgot about that. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's see, From the Vault Realms was a good one. It did not sell well, though. It's got Beseiju. It's got the infamous Dryad Arbor. Also the infamous, the slightly less infamous Murmuring Bosk. Oh, I forgot that has Ancient Tomb in it. Holy shit, we can get foil Ancient Tombs? Wait, Ancient Tomb's been reprinted, hasn't it? Ancient Tomb is on the list? What the fuck? Huh, apparently the Zendikar Rising Expedition for Ancient Tomb is one of the cheapest versions of Ancient Tomb. Exiled came out the year before Relics, so it came out in 2010. Well, Relics came out in 2010. So it came out in 2009? Yeah, From the Vault Exiled. Which was the second From the Vault, after From the Vault Dragons. I'm still kicking myself for not picking up From the Vault Dragons. It's not even worth that much. Like, From the Vault Dragons, you can buy the full set for $150. But I'm still kicking myself for not picking it up when I had the option to. Yep. Yeah, I don't understand how Ancient Tomb has been reprinted so many times. Because I'm pretty sure Ancient Tomb was a rare originally. What are the criteria for the reserve list? I know it had to have been a rare. I know it had to have been printed before 2000. What are the other criteria for it? Did it have a price threshold or something? Because it seems relatively arbitrary. What's on the reserve list and what's not. Like, I used to have the criteria memorized, but I don't remember what they are. Do you know what the reserve list criteria are, Russell? I'd look it up on my phone, but I currently have a process running on my phone. All right. Yeah, that I don't think that makes sense. Okay, as it is currently defined by Wizards. The reserved list is a list of Magic cards that will never be reprinted in order to preserve their value on the secondary market. The reprint policy featuring the reserved list was published by Wizards of the Coast on March 4th, 1996. I remember that. Revised in 2002 and again in 2010. Oh, I was not aware of the second, or sorry, I was not aware of the second revision in 2010. Current definition: reserved cards are cards that will never be printed again in a functionally identical form. A card is considered functionally identical if another card of it has the same card type, subtypes, abilities, mana cost, power, and toughness. Huh. The exclusion of any particular card from the reserve list doesn't indicate that there are plans to reprint that card. The reprint policies applies to both English and non-English cards. All policies apply only to tournament legal Magic cards in printed form. Wizards of the Coast has and may continue to print special versions of cards not meant for regular gameplay, such as oversized cards. The restriction also does not apply to non-redeemable digital cards in Magic Online or Magic Arena. Okay. That's... Whoa, there was a reserved until? Okay, the following cards were removed from the reserved list in March 2002. Oh, they're all uncommons, except for Feroz's ban. So Basalt Monolith, Berserk, Camouflage, Clone. Why was Clone on the reserve list? Consecrate Land, Copper Tablet, Demonic Tutor, Dwarven Demolition Team, Earthbind, False Orders, Guardian Angel, Ice Storm, Invisibility. Why the fuck was Invisibility on the reserve list? That doesn't even make sense. Jade Statue, Juggernaut, Lance, Living Wall, Nettling Imp, Psionic Blast, Regrowth, Resurrection, Sacrifice, Sinkhole. Sinkhole was not a common. Sinkhole was a slot 1 uncommon. Not a common. What the fuck? Soul Ring, which is uncommon, and Feroz's ban from Homelands. Like, why Feroz's ban needed to be unbanned, I don't understand. Honestly, not too sure. I think that's what people are collecting at the time. You know, revised probably due to Mox time. I mean, that is around the same time. Wait a second. Isn't Academy Rector on the list? Because Academy Rector is on the reserve list. No, that's not exactly why it was created. It was created because of a series of lawsuits that happened after Chronicles. But yeah. Okay, so the original list, all cards from Alpha and Beta that had not appeared in 4th edition or Ice Age. Okay. All uncommon and rare cards from the original list was all uncommon and rare cards from Arabian Nights and Antiquities that had not been reprinted in a white border at that time, i.e. did not appear in revised 4th edition or Chronicles. All rare cards from Legends and the Dark that had not yet been reprinted in white border. That was the original list. Then subsequent editions. WotC reserved the right to reprint cards from Fallen Empires, Ice Age, Homelands, and subsequent limited expansion sets, as well as from cards from Chronicles. In order to maintain the collectability of these products, however, they would reprint in white border no more than 25% of the rarest cards. At least 75% of the rarest cards from each of these sets would never be printed in either black or white border. For this purpose, the rarest cards from a given expansion were defined as those appearing with the lowest frequency on the rarest print sheet, defined as on the rarest print sheet used to print that expansion, i.e. cards from Fallen Empires, Chronicles and Homelands designated U1, so slot 1 uncommon, and cards from Ice Age designated R1 in the Duelist magazine's card list for these sets. Okay. In conjunction with the release for each new core set, such as 5th edition, WotC would announce which sets were considered eligible to have cards from them rotated into the core set. Any rare card from those sets not rotated into the core set at that time would become a reserved card and thus would never be printed again in black or white border in game functionally identical form. Yeah. I could have sworn it was on the list recently. But because I thought I pulled one. But I could be I'm likely just misremembering. All right, then the 2002 revision. In 2002's revision, WotC decided no cards from the Mercadian Mask sets and later sets would be reserved. Yeah, so reserved list is only stuff from pre-Mercadian Masks, which is what I remembered. Commons and uncommons from limited edition were removed from the reserved list due to overwhelming public support for this change. In consideration of past commitments, however, no other cards would be removed from the list. The exception was Feroz's ban from Homelands, which was reprinted in 5th edition, but mistakenly was still on the reserved list at the time. It was also removed. Okay, so that's why Feroz's ban was removed from the reserved list, because it was accidentally on the reserved list from the reprint in 5th edition. Okay. 2010 revision. The original policy only applied to non-premium cards, meaning that reserved list cards could be printed as a premium exclusive card. When this was applied to Dual Decks Phyrexia versus the Coalition and From the Vault Relics, Magic community's reactions were to a large extent negative. Starting in 2011, no cards on the reserve list would be printed in either form, premium or non-premium forms. Okay. Yeah, so From the Vault Relics actually was one of the two reasons why they updated the reserve list. That's hilarious. And also bullshit. I mean, like, realistically, if they reversed that today, I would not be upset. Granted, if they just dropped the reserve list entirely today, I would not be upset. Even though I have a lot of money in reserve list cards. Like, if they did away with the reserve list, yeah. Yeah, people just complaining. People complaining about Magic. The one thing that will never change. It goes along with death and taxes. There are three inevitable things in Magic: death, taxes, and people bitching about Magic. Or rather, Magic players finding something to bitch about. I'll be honest, like, the most recent couple of sets, I've not been a big fan of. Yeah, and Vintage too. Like, I want to be able to play Vintage. I love Vintage, and I have not been able to play Paper Vintage in years. Actually, that's not true. I have been able to play Paper Vintage twice in the last 5 years. So, I haven't seen someone post results with a white weenie list and Vintage in, like, decade. And even the white weenie deck in Vintage runs, let's see, it runs Mox Pearl and Lotus, and I think that's it. it's not that they're lackluster. They're power creeped all to hell, and the design for them overall is it's bloated. Like they're trying to fit a block worth of cards into single sets, and then they're releasing them on an accelerated schedule, and it feels like a constant cash grab. Especially since they're releasing just tons of supplemental products on top of it. No, that was not White Weenie. That was the Initiative. They're completely different archetypes. The Initiative did not play like White Weenie at all. White Weenie is normally a go-wide strategy. The closest thing that we have to White Weenie anywhere is Death and Taxes, and Death and Taxes has largely replaced White Weenie. Yes, I mean it's a blatant cash grab. Like that's my point. But it feels like every single thing is a cash grab, and it's largely because Hasbro just has made poor business choices for the last 20 years. Like the only solid business choice that I've seen that they've made was acquiring Wizards, and they're running it into the ground because it's the only IP that they have that's making any kind of profit or any reasonable amount of profit. Because like Transformers is in the fucking hole. My Little Pony is in the hole at this point. It used like My Little Pony was making them fantastic money, and then they just shot themselves in the foot by killing the series that had revived the brand. You know, because that makes so much sense. And the way they did that was they turned that into a cash grab too. They tried to cash grab on it, and then instead of focusing on quality, they went to quantity again, which isn't what people want. But like, you should, if you ever want to see something really crazy, look at the number of mythics per set since Hasbro bought Wizards of the Coast. Like, it is genuinely crazy how much it's gone up. And also look at the size of sets since they bought Wizards. Also, for the last year, I think it was, we've had no vanilla creatures in Standard. There's not a single creature without an ability in Standard. And there hasn't been for almost a year now. Which is bad for the overall health of the game, because they are cutting into their design space by doing that. It's kind of like how 27% of all legendary creatures that had ever been printed were printed in printed in 2022, which is just astounding. Like, for a 30-year game to have over a quarter of all the legendary creatures that were ever printed in it within the span of 1 year, that's not healthy. That's not good for the long-term design of the game. Like, you don't have to be a game designer to know that. Like, that sounds bad on its face. So. And I guarantee you the people that made that decision don't even play Magic. which is probably the biggest, where a lot of the biggest problems come from. A lot of the people making the higher end decisions have nothing invested in Magic. Like it's literally just a cash cow to them. And that really makes me upset, considering that I've spent 30 years, it's 30 years of my life heavily invested in this game. So. But yeah. There's a whole thing. Yay. So I have to ask, did you get a notification when I started streaming? I've had a couple of people ask me, how to know when I'm streaming, or did you just see it in your feed? I have no idea what goes out when I start a stream. I don't know if there's a message or something. I need to set up like triggers or something on it to like put stuff in the Discord that no one has access to yet. To like post something in Discord and like post on Facebook, something like that. I need to get better at the community building part. You just saw it in the feed. Yeah. That's what I was worried about. Yeah, I generally get on at about 10 o'clock every day. Some days I'll get on a little earlier. That's cool. I appreciate you coming and hanging out. It's always a little awkward when chat's dead. I feel like I'm just screaming into the void. And it makes the time go by faster, too. Like, apparently I've been streaming for a little over an hour and a half now. I'm gonna have to order more side loaders soon. Do you know if GU has side loading perfect fits? They don't open for another hour or another half hour, I guess. I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on with that. Oh, so you know what I do with perfect. So you know how I buy perfect fits. So pre-pandemic, you know, it got so bad that Mike actually said, just like leave me one or two, please. Because other players are starting to get mad because you come and buy out all of them, and then nobody else could get them. I was like, I know, I don't want anyone else to have them because I'm sick of people double sleeving all their friggin' decks. Yeah, well, I mean, I hate not having supplies when I need them. I hate having to wait on stuff to be delivered, or on having to go out and pick stuff up because I run out. So I that's why you could still get them. Yeah. Yeah, Mike asked me to stop buying them all out every time. Then I just stopped getting them at the shop. I started ordering them by the case directly from Dragon Shield and Ultra Pro. It doesn't do anything for the longevity of your sleeves. Double sleeving is not about your sleeves. Because the thing that causes sleeves to wear is, the wear on the outer sleeve. Like, it's not wear on the inside of the sleeve. I hate picking up I hate picking up a deck that makes them bulky enough to where the corners don't bend. Oh. What? That doesn't make sense. Or do you mean it fluffs them enough so that when you shuffle, the corners don't get bent? I could see the argument that it fluffs them enough so that when you do a split and shuffle, the corners don't get bent. Like, I could see the argument for that. But most of the wear on sleeves is the wear on the backs of them, which we solved with textured matte sleeves. Or corrected for mostly with textured matte sleeves. I miss the old slicks. I miss matte slicks, where they were matte on the front and slick on the back. Like the original Dragon Shields. Yeah, it adds that extra little bit of air, which the funny thing is, that's what I hate about double sleeves. I hate that extra fluff to it because it makes them, it makes it like, I tend to pinch a deck from the middle. Like, when I pick up a deck, I tend to pick it up from I cradle the bottom with my pinky and I pinch it from the middle, which when you double sleeve can end up with the deck just flying out this way. And I hate that. And it feels like I'm going to just launch the deck across the room when I do that. And I don't like it. But even I've been double sleeving for years now. That, and there's additional expense to it. I miss slicks. They shuffled so nicely. It wasn't that dry kind of feeling. Like, it had this just a buttery smooth shuffle to it when you first sleeve them up. The only downside is they fucking wear so easily. I miss the old Ultra Pro metallic series that they did in the late 90s and early 2000s. I still have a couple of packs of them, but I loved those sleeves. And they, like, the corners on them were razor sharp too. So it was not uncommon to end up with cuts from the sleeves because of how sharp they were. But they were just the best damn sleeves. They shuffled beautifully. They looked fantastic. They were super durable. And they looked really pretty because they were colored metallics. And I mean like reflective metallics. Like the downside to them is you had to be careful how you picked up your cards, like how you picked up the top card of your deck, or your opponent could actually see the card because the backs of the sleeves were reflective. Which you'll notice is why I pull my top card, is part of why I pull the top card onto the mat and move it. Yeah, see, like I don't like having to do all that. You know, I actually used to keep Band-Aids in my bag just for that. I took them to a GP once, and like my hands were just covered in cuts by the end of the night. By the end of the first night. I mean, they eventually wore, like the corners eventually wore down enough that they wouldn't cut you, but like the first 5 or 6 games with them, you had to watch what you were doing because you would end up with cuts all over your hands. Yeah. Unfortunately, my favorite type of sleeves, they don't make any, well, other than the Ultra Pro, other than those Ultra Pro ones, which they haven't made in like 15 years. There's several types of sleeves from the early 2000s that I loved that they just don't make anymore. Like Player's Choice brand, which was a sub company of KM. It later became KMC. Like they made fantastic slick back sleeves. Like I still have decks in those sleeves 20 years later, and the sleeves are a little beat up, but they're so good. Because they put just a little bit of latex in the plastic, so they were super flexible sleeves. But it was, yeah, they were just great sleeves. Like the original Dragon Shields were effectively a knockoff of them. Like the original slick Dragon Shields were about the closest thing to them, but they weren't quite as good. And I miss those sleeves. They were so great. The alpha and beta hypnotic specters that I showed you the other day, that's what those were in Player's Choice sleeves. They were in one of my last packs of Player's Choice sleeves. Granted, I haven't unsleeved that deck in almost 20 years. Yeah, did you see that Forbes accidentally spoiled the entire set? That's what you get for sending fucking spoilers to Forbes. Like, the whole reason why they started doing that is because of content creators shitting on Magic 30. So instead of taking the criticism that they got and, you know, adapting to that criticism, they decided to just pivot to people that weren't going to criticize them. But, like, what the fuck does Forbes have to do with Magic? It's just a company that... Forbes is just an easy place to get a puff piece written. It is a bad thing. because it's denying, it is denying part of the Magic community access to things that, you know, help grow the community. Like, Forbes does not need to be involved in spoiler season. It's fucking stupid. That would be like having the Wall Street Journal write an article on the new Yu-Gi-Oh release or the new Pokemon release, and having that be the exclusive place to see it. Like, come on. They went to Forbes because they knew it would be an easy place to buy a puff piece. Because instead of, you know, taking the criticism that they got and correcting their actions as a result, they're like, nah, no, fuck it, my ego is more important than actual business, than making good business sense. So I'm going to, you know, pay this company to fillet me publicly, and just leave it at that. That way my ego is undamaged. Of course, you're such a fragile ego. I hate stuff like that. I hate when politicians do it. I hate when companies do it. I especially hate when companies do it that have no business doing it. Which is exactly what Hasbro is doing. And I hate that Forbes has just become an absolute joke in the last 20 years. Because they used to be, you know, an actual reasonable place to get business news. And they've just become a propaganda piece for companies at this point. Yeah. I have yet to see a single battle card that wasn't nuts. Even the first one that was spoiled, the one that's Ranger's Path, basically. Like, Ranger's Path is a good card. Or Explosive Vegetation, if you prefer. Like, those were great cards. Like, they were played pretty much every standard they were ever in. And then to have it do other stuff too? Why not? Still not sure how the mechanics for battles are going to work. Like, if they successfully defend it, what happens? Like, is there any downside to playing them over, you know, a sorcery? This is basically a sorcery that ends up getting you a creature later on and counts as a permanent on the field. I still want to know if you can sacrifice it. Like, you own the permanent. Do you control the permanent? Like, can you use different abilities that interact with it from previous things? That's what I want to know. I want to know how exactly it's treated as a game object. Because, like, if you can sack it, that's pretty good. It's also going to really mess with their design space overall. And the number on it, is that treated like loyalty counters? Is that treated like health? Like, do you have to damage it? Or is that, like, how many times you have to attack it? Like, what? There's so much information we don't have yet. So does it exile and then come back transformed, or does it just transform? Or does it have some other mechanic other than transform? Yeah, exactly. What's happened to the price of Hex Parasite? See if it's spiked like in the last day or two. So it works the same way as loyalty counters? Well, we have multiple things in standard right now that manipulate counters. Now here's something that I'm not sure if anyone's thought about or not, but you can proliferate onto it. Since if they're counters, you can proliferate onto it. Keep in mind, it will hit the stack as a new object. Does it exile and do it, or does it flip and become a spell on the stack? Because if it flips and becomes a spell on the stack, the timing on that is really important for a number of cards. Like, that's going to make interaction really strange. Does it go on as a state-based action, or does it go on as a trigger? Is the other question. It goes on as a state-based action, that makes things a lot cleaner, but if it goes on as a trigger, there's a lot of stuff that could... Exile and you may cast. Okay. And it does that as a trigger or a state-based action? And if it's you may cast, then that means it can be countered. And if you don't cast it, does it it stays in exile, right? Like there's a lot of detail that needs to be hashed out for that. And with the way they've been designing shit the last couple of years, I can easily see them having not asked half of these questions. Okay, so trigger instead of state-based action. So if it's a trigger, then there's a lot of nutty stuff that you can do with counter manipulation. If it's so Planeswalkers going into the graveyard when they hit 0 is as a state-based action. Which is why I'm asking. Because if it's as a state-based action, it cleans up a lot of stuff. If it's as a trigger, then like there's a bunch of funky stuff you can do. Especially with manipulating counters. All right, we almost have Streets of New Capenna completely booked for our full art lands. See, this is why it's nice to have someone in chat talking, because then I can just kind of zen out while putting cards into stuff, and we can have a really cool conversation. Like the battles, I am so fascinated by the battles. I'll be honest, I fucking hate that they're adding another new that they're adding another new card type. I was mad about it with vehicles. I was mad about it with planeswalkers. I mean, I use them, but I still hate them. I'm just an angry old man when it comes to Magic. We already knew this. Some could argue that I'm just an angry old man. Yes, I understand that. But the trigger, like, you can have it as a trigger or you can have it as a state-based action to put it in a new zone. Planeswalkers, they're the thing that puts it in a new zone. So with planeswalkers, when they take damage, what puts them in a new zone is a state-based action. You check state-based actions before priority. You check for triggers at priority. If that makes any sense. Like you can't respond to state-based actions. You can respond to triggers. That's why it matters. So for instance, like I forget the name of the card. There's a few cards actually that do this, where you can tap a permanent that you control for like mana or to draw a card or along those lines. If it's a trigger, before it goes out or before it changes zones, you can get more value off of it. If it's a state-based action, you can't. So it's a whole thing. And that's Streets of New Capenna's land. It's all booked up. Means I almost have a sorting tray opened up. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, being able to destroy battles are going to be broken regardless. Like they're going to be very good either way. Being able to destroy it before it flips, that's going to be interesting. Because battle is their super type, right? Pretty sure battle is their super type. Oh, thank you. So that's a whole thing. Alright, we're going to take a very quick break. I've got to run to the restroom. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. Siege is why did they add Siege as a subtype? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Why even have a subtype? Are they planning on having multiple subtypes? Oh, it is noon. So I'm very confused as to why they did that. It is a whole thing. Right, I'm just trying to think, what other subtypes they would have. So you've got sieges, but like what else? Alright. That's all good. I think I'm gonna wrap up the stream anyway. We're 2 hours in. 2 hours is plenty of time for streaming. So just gonna close out the stream. It's all good. So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Russell. It's been a pleasure. And thank you to anyone else that was in here. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what's some dumb decision that Wizards or any other game company has made. I want to know in the comments. That just kind of gets to you. The reserved list has been bugging me for over 20 years at this point. So, as always, until next time, stay awesome, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.